Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 25th, a quarter of 100, wow, episode of the Closers Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Marco Alvarado, and I'm here today with two very special guests. I know that I was supposed to have my dad on, bless his old band, the Trio Intimo, but life gets in the way, and I have to have a plan B, and luckily, I had a co-plan A, which is better than a plan B. We got returning guest, Jonah Jameson Phillips, the man himself.
Toby all the way.
A fan favorite. And first-time guest, not last-time guest, Lucas Morales.
How you guys doing?
The baby boy.
Oh, you know.
And we're here today to kind of just fuck around, if that's okay with everybody. We played D&D last night. Well, me and Jake played D&D last night. And we'll get into that in a minute. But before we get into that, I just have to say, please follow us on Instagram at The Closers Podcast, on Facebook at Closers Podcast, and on YouTube, The Closers Podcast is the channel. Please subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot to subscribe. We're planning on some more live streams end of October, early November. It's going to be really fun. The October schedule will be out in the next couple days, and I have some surprises in store that I hope you all will enjoy. Also, if you are a band or if you have any music that you created or you know somebody that does, please message me on the Closers Podcast Instagram account, because I'm trying to feature music on the podcast as the intro and outro music every week, something new, so you guys don't keep hearing the same intro music. I feel like it just gets kind of old. So yeah, if you know anybody, message me and we'll get them on. I'm looking at you, careless cub. All right. So guys, how are you?
Damn, really just called out Grant there.
Dude, I'm trying to get that
that feature like.
I'm trying to get that. Yeah, dude. I'm trying to get Grant on, like, or at least the music. That'd be cool.
Still waiting on the Dreary Eyes band release.
Dude, Dreary Eyes is happening soon. It's coming soon. There's a lot that's going into it, but it's coming very quickly. I'm gonna use the single Blood Love on the podcast soon with Lacey. She's actually coming on at some point. So yeah, they'll be on at some point.
Looking forward to hearing that.
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, good.
We support. Boys support boys.
Boys support boys. I love it. So with Dungeons and Dragons, do either of you want to give a quick overview of what Dungeons and Dragons is?
I feel like I can do that pretty well.
All right, perfect.
Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop RPG that involves a lot of strategy and imagination. People gather around depending on what size group you like. You can have 2 people and 1 DM. You can have 4 people, which is about the usual size, and 1 DM. Or you can have 7 people, like both of our groups that I have. 7
people, damn.
That is a lot of people for a D&D group, but it makes it fun.
Yes, it does.
Most of your stuff is created by you, your character, what they like to do, their personality, if they're a complete crackhead like some of our group is, or if they actually try to do good like most of our group doesn't. And then it also is set up by the DM most of the time. What happens to those
What
characters?
Is a DM?
A DM is the dungeon master.
A dungeon master.
Jake is the master of many dungeons.
Whether they be board games or sexual. But that's not the point. The DM usually has a campaign that they can follow or create on the fly, such as our homebrew, which is a term for just like stuff you make up.
Yeah.
Our homebrew campaign is fun, but the follow-along ones, like the actual stories that are written out, are very good.
Like the one we're playing, it's Princes of the Apocalypse, right?
Yep.
Yeah, really good one. Crazy one. Yeah.
Some crazy stuff also happens that isn't planned.
Yeah.
Like, say, 2 of your companions stopping a caravan, murdering most of them, and getting a horse out of it. And only a horse.
Just a horse. Hey, it's worth it, though.
It is.
The horse is dead now.
No, because you get to kill you get to kill the horse for just enough XP so that way you can level up.
You got 7 XP for that.
It was all part of the plan.
It's all worth it.
It was all part of the plan.
It started a fight between you and the other crackhead.
And guess who died?
Technically you.
Technically both of us.
Interesting story about that. After Marco's character died, a deity, I would say, brought him back to life.
Yeah, because I'm a special boy.
Oh.
Yeah. Ronan's not a special boy.
Ronan got
Well,
murdered by
he's
that
another
deity.
type of special boy.
He needs that's a helmet type of special boy.
Yeah.
Just like me.
So let's go over quickly like the characters that we all play as, and what we like about them, what we dislike, and like the adventures we've gone on with them. So Lucas, would you like to start since you're pretty new
Yeah,
to D&D?
actually, I only started as of recently because Jake got me into it. Mine's a Kenku. And
What is that?
So it's basically like a giant bird creature.
Not giant, like human size.
Oh, human size, but like it's
For a bird,
bigger
relative to a bird,
like
it's giant.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like it looks like a raven at least, and then my character's like pretty much an edgelord. So his family was murdered.
As most first characters are.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
like I walk around with like an urn of like my family members and stuff like that, and like
Jesus Christ.
and the whole thing of like the Kenkus is like they're a race of like bird
Yeah.
animals.
We got the Undertaker over here.
Yeah, I know, right? And basically they were worshiping a deity, and then they betrayed the deity, and then they got their ability of flight taken away.
Yeah.
I think, at least. But I actually like it a lot. We drew out our characters, and fucking it's just all kinds of crazy stuff.
One thing about Lucas's character that is special because it's a Kenku, he can only talk in repeated phrases.
In mimicry.
Yeah, so he can only say what someone else has said,
Or like
in
phrases
general,
I've heard, yeah.
and he has to change how he says it every time to mimic that person.
You know, that is the hard part of it, because I try to like do the mimicry, but
Yeah.
like I'm sitting at the table trying to speak in bird, and I'm like oh, cabin. I'm like, I don't know, like what, and like I just like I feel goofy doing it, but at the same time, it's part of like the storyline. And
Yeah.
you have to do it.
Yeah. So how do you? So with being a Kanku, and you have to repeat what people say. So let's say like 5 minutes before I said something about like another character being like a goof or something. 5 minutes after I say that, can the character then still say it? Or
Yeah.
I how I'm letting him do it is if he's heard it at all, I'll let him use it.
okay,
Yeah.
and even specific words, so he can combine words from different sentences to make new stuff.
I would think so, but
I
they would
say
have to be in
yes.
different
Yeah,
voices, because like
if he heard someone say Taco Bell is really good and then heard Jack in the Box is better,
Mhm.
He could be like, Taco Bell is better than Jack in the Box.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
something
So he
like
has
that,
to
yeah.
talk like the character that said it.
because it's
Oh,
all the
that's
mimicry.
that's fucking
Yeah.
weird. You'd have to write all those phrases down and like figure out just to keep
It's
consistent.
hard. It's hard.
That sounds hard.
It makes it interesting, though. At least there's that.
He just needs to work on doing voices for those characters.
Yeah, I kind of keep it to the same voice because I'm like, yeah, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. You don't want to like, be all weird about it.
Which is difficult since most people with their first characters, including me,
Yeah.
just use their own voice for
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
character.
me too. I generally use my own voice.
I tried getting into it with
Shrek.
Shrek.
Shrek. I'm trying to now that Swolsko is a good boy because he was saved by an angel. He was an evil boy and now he's a good boy. I feel like, and he's now Super Saiyan. He has like golden hair.
Really?
He used to have white. Used to have white hair and now has golden hair. But I want to give him like a voice. I just don't know like what to do.
You can have like a holier than thou voice, like, how dare you?
How dare you enter the sanctity of our group or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could talk like that. Everyone would think I'm a weirdo.
That's half the fun is talking in a
Being the
voice,
weirdo.
being the character.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one that has, like, out of our group, our
Uh-huh.
new group, I'm the only one that has something like that.
Really?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's cool. I mean, at the same time, it makes things difficult, and people are, like, looking at you weird.
Yeah.
And,
But that's half the fun is actually getting it. One thing I wish our groups are fun just because of like the goofiness that happens.
Yeah.
But I would one day like to do like a very serious like campaign,
That'd be
just like really in character.
Yeah.
But that will probably be a future.
I'm down for that.
Future.
If that ever happens and when I'm not in Sweden, I want to in on that.
Oh yeah, you better convert some people to D&D in Sweden.
Oh dude, it's I bet they'll convert me. I bet there's a ton of people in Sweden that
convert
play.
some people to Letterkenny, too. While you're out there.
So you mentioned Shrek. What
Oh, yes.
who is this Shrek?
Shrek is a half orc that usually talks about like this. very grunt, very bad talking half orc. And Shrek kind of just popped out of the wilderness because we needed me to reappear in the campaign after Barnacle Man died.
Oh no!
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace
Rip.
to the real Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy and Barnacle Man, my
Oh
character.
man, sad. Sad.
But Shrek hates rocks because a meteor killed his family, so he doesn't understand that was from space, so he hates all rocks. And he hates crackheads.
Oh, does he? I wonder why. You should make, if Shrek ever, God forbid, but if he ever bites the dust, you should make Mermaid Boy. Because you got Barnacle Man.
Hold up.
Mermaid Boy.
Maybe. I do want to do another druid in the future, but I think I'll probably switch up to maybe like a gnome or something.
A gnome. A gnome would be
Like a
super
gnome.
funny.
Good, not to Gnelf.
You're gonna rip a page out of probs.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna just be a rogue again. Sneak attack.
Just sneak attack constantly.
That's me right now.
Yeah,
At least,
but thank goodness my group learned how to do sneak attack within the first session.
Yeah, that's good.
Because, probably no disrespect, but you need to learn what sneak attack does.
Alright.
It's so you run two groups, or you're in two groups. You run one, and then you are also a participant in the Drew one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because Andrew Gale, another guest of the pod, an alumni of the podcast, he runs the league, or not the league, the group that me and Jake do D&D in, and then Jake runs the group that Lucas is in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an all ancestral, like Andrew is the dad of Jake's D&D
And now
knowledge.
I've got my own children running around.
Yeah.
Which
He
Drew is a part of
grandfathered
that
this
group.
Yeah.
Your dad? Oh, that's nice of you to include your dad. That's so sweet.
Not my dad.
No.
But
You're not my dad.
so you have another character named Blaze,
Ah, yes.
the homebrew. Because in
The-
the homebrew, the Drew group, we have two campaigns going on.
The OG Blaze, he's a tiefling fighter. A bit edgy background because everyone's first character has
Yes.
an edgy background.
Yeah.
Father killed the mother, he killed the father, and then ran off.
Wow.
Because being tiefling, it's half devil, half human.
Right.
Which you can take any direction, but I decided to go edgelord route, like everyone does. He's a good character overall.
Yeah.
Neutral good.
Right.
And being a fighter is one of the funnest characters just because you get to do everything.
Yeah.
You get to heal, you get to throw people around, you get to attack 4 times once you're level 5.
Yeah.
Really? Dang.
I think I'm gonna be a fighter if I ever join, because I know Benny, Jesse's friend, is starting a one shot thing during Christmas time, and he wants me and Drew to be a part of it. So for that, I might create a fighter, because I've never played a fighter, and it sounds super fucking fun.
And even when you're not level 5, you can attack twice, which no one can do.
That is true.
Unless they're like two-handed.
Yeah. Dang. Which character do you like better, Blaze or Shrek?
I would definitely say Blaze, just because Shrek I created on the fly. I didn't have as much time to put effort into his character or his design or backstory. Blaze, I had a whole picture in my head what he was going to look like.
Yeah.
He's got plate armor, so he's just hard to hit in general, and then he's got both high charisma and high strength, so he can just throw around people and actually talk, unlike Shrek. And just his abilities, just because I find the tiefling getting different abilities from leveling up is really fun.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. What do you have a certain type of character that you would like to explore at some point?
See, when we started doing it, I didn't really we designed our characters in a day, I think, and
So you were really thinking about
because we went over to his brother's house and we were trying to figure everything out.
Yeah.
And I just wish I had more time to design my character background, because I've been out of town for work for the longest. I've been out of town for 2 months.
Shit.
And but I going through all the characters. I don't think I really had the time to actually look into their backgrounds and see which characters can do what. And,
Yeah.
Because what he said seemed really cool. His character Blaze. But I only went with Kenku because it's a giant bird. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
And I half trapped him into that because he's like, I can say normal stuff, right? With the Kenku, I was like, yeah. If you've heard it.
Oh. damn you, the trickster boy.
Yeah.
But if anything, that's something you can like look into, and then we can always just like you can retire characters as well. If you ever grow tired of a character in D&D, you can have them like stop adventuring and then introduce your new character, or try to have the DM introduce them.
Yeah.
Like just like if your character died, but he's still alive somewhere.
Yeah. But
Okay.
would you possibly be able to unretire that character?
Yeah, can you bring him back?
I'd say you'd be able to. There might be some like changes with them, like probably like a level change if it's been a while.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. Like if you ever want to like bring them out, or if you wanted to, you could like use them in a different campaign. Say like a campaign got around the level that you were when you retired, you could bring them into that one and say, "Oh, I joined this."
That makes sense. Would you? So since you are a DM now, which proud of you. Great moves, Jake. Keep it up.
boy.
Proud of you. Would you allow somebody to unretire their character, but would there be caveats? Like, would their personality have to be slightly different? Would like something have to be progressing in their arc as a character, or would you just let it just fall?
I would have them fill in what they were doing during that time, and if they did not like, they'd obviously have to clear it with me. I can't have them like, oh, in this time I became God, and or otherworldly.
Yeah.
But say like, oh, I was farming, and then I became a farmer. My farm got attacked. I had to defend my family. Realized I can help stop this by adventuring again. That's reasonable.
Gotcha.
And that could explain like the experience buff, like, oh, you were doing stuff with your life, you still fought, and
you gained experience.
Yeah, you would have to like sit down and talk that over with your DM kind of thing.
Yeah.
And,
talk to your DM to see if unretiring a character is right for you.
yeah, exactly.
But definitely retiring and unretiring a character don't happen too often, since sessions you're just like going through them.
Yeah.
But if you just really don't want to play with that character anymore, you can change it up. Like that's what the one shot is kind of for, to give you like a taste of like what's coming.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone wants to switch out and do something.
Yeah. It helps out.
Yeah, there's still time.
Yeah. So are you guys in your campaign, have you guys already started on an arc, like a whole campaign, or has it just been one shot?
Barely getting into
the one shot for the same one shot we did for our first adventure is that one, but it starts into a whole arc that Andrew did not do with us.
Oh, nice. So you're just taking it in a totally different direction.
Yeah, continuing with the people that got kidnapped and everything.
Oh, okay. So it expands upon that. That's interesting. I can't wait to hear what you have in store for that.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be crazy.
I've been reading into the story because it's a planned one. Thank goodness.
Oh wow.
I don't think I would have the mindset yet to homebrew.
Yeah.
Just because I need like probably need a little more structure in how I would do it.
Yeah.
So I would most likely, if I homebrewed, it would be like just a bunch of dungeon crawls. With the planned stories, it does help since it gives you like towns and NPCs to like that already have certain mindsets.
Right.
Everything's tangible. Like,
Yeah.
It's already there.
And you can edit already made stories to fit whatever you're doing.
Since I started them at level 3 instead of level 1, I had to buff all the enemies.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, I'm sure like you can go online and like look up like other people's homebrews and
oh yeah, plenty of people
pick
write
something
stories
out.
and everything, and there's some great subreddits for D&D memes and just regular artwork and stories.
There's a lot of great things on
Reddit. and you could there's like places where you could buy stories that are like really super immersive. Like people go deep into it.
I bet you could.
And it's only like $3 and you could just buy like an amazing crazy campaign.
Some of the resources available for D&D are really good because there's free like stuff that helps balance encounters. Like that's what I used the whole time when I was buffing the enemies. I was putting it in and seeing like, oh, will they be able to fight this, or would it be too hard? It also comes down to the rolls as well, because the big boss of that cave that they were in, they beat the crap out of it.
Yeah, we demolished that guy.
He rolled so low, but everything else, like Carlitos' character, he ran in.
Shout out to the boy Carlitos.
That boy looting.
I'm gonna go in looting.
He ran in, and as soon as he ran in, he got shot by like 4 arrows.
Well, that was me at the beginning when I got shot at the beginning of like the carriage and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that was the thickets.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
I was
you
like
got
20
fucked up with the thickets.
Yeah, I was like 20 yards ahead because like I was like, oh, like I'm
gonna go see what's up with those horses.
Dang.
I was like, oh, I'm a rogue. I can dodge.
That's
and dab.
crazy.
And like I didn't understand like the principles of the game, so I was like, oh, I'll be 20 yards ahead. I'm totally fine.
And then you just like
and then I got
you got
blapped.
fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, remember in ours when we did it in the other group and like I went off by myself and I fought like the orc captain by myself and I beat him. I killed him.
Oh, did you really?
But I killed
You
one.
knocked him unconscious.
I knocked him unconscious.
but you didn't tie him up.
Yeah.
So he got back up.
He got back up and he like called over his cronies. But if I would have tied him up or just killed him, like it would have been the easiest campaign.
Yeah.
I got inspiration for that too. That was the first time. Like Andrew was like, I don't know. You're a level 1 character and you like fucked up this guy who's like had like 20 HP.
Yeah.
Insane.
To our listeners at home, inspiration is a stat that the DM gives out at their discretion. If someone does something that's really good or really like in character or just out of left field and it works sometimes, they can give inspiration, which lets them re-roll anything, including death saves or attack rolls,
Which we saw yesterday.
Oh yeah.
No, that was a crazy time. It's so fun when you first start D&D because it's such an unknown, and I feel like sometimes as experienced players, you get into the mindset of like, this is how D&D is supposed to be, whereas like a new player's like, I want to do this and like do these crazy things and just have fun, and it's like fun to always play with new people.
Just
and
going outside the box.
Yeah, because some people like build the box for themselves. Or like, I like playing this type of character. I like playing with these people that play as these characters, so you kind of know how to do it within that bubble. But to get out of that bubble, it's always fun.
But new characters and new ideas make stories. Your boy Luton.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice thing about D&D is that everything's based off like your own imagination. Like when we came we were going across a bridge and there was an enemy on the bridge, and me and the boy Carlitos, we shot arrows at him, and it was like we both rolled super high and we both landed our shots and killed him. It's like cool.
It's
like,
always fun whenever something actually works out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that rarely happens in some
Hardly.
groups.
It's also fun when your plans don't work out.
Fun, sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
define fun on that
define
one.
define fun.
The one thing that I've accepted that my characters might die when all of our characters died in the homebrew, we didn't expect that it was a scripted death. Mm-hmm. So when I got nat 20'd by this giant enemy, I was like, oh no, I'm losing health, and then he hits me enough to where I full on die. I was like, I accept it. This is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Blaze is done for, and then it was a scripted death. So I was like, oh, thank God,
Yeah,
I'm still my character.
Yeah, everyone died. That's the thing too. Like yesterday's death, I accept it when it's an NPC that kills me, but when it's a player character.
Oh, like someone
Dude,
in the group.
Ronan was trying to kill him because
Jesse
he
straight killed me.
Really?
Horse.
Oh.
Yeah, because so there was a horse that me and Jesse were like on the same team in a way.
Yeah.
And so one night in our campaign, me and Jesse went into this like road and we waited for a caravan, and a caravan came by and we killed almost everybody. 3 people got away. We told one of the people that like if you tell the people in the nearby town that it's bugbears that attacked this caravan, we will spare you and everybody else. So it was only one person. The other 2 people we couldn't catch them. So they told the police like what actually happened. We got a horse out of it, and that's basically it. Jesse loved that horse, named it Charles. I gave it to him because I was like, whatever, like I don't care. I don't really care. I just wanted to kill people because I'm an evil character.
Yeah.
Jesse's also evil. But then, so the horse and like our other group members were trying to figure out who were those bandits that killed all those people. So that
we had some evidence and it was coming up.
But yeah, I guess that whole thing is done now.
Oh,
because
no.
because yesterday in our campaign we were going to this spire where there's these knights that ride like fucking hippogriffs, and we were going to go visit them because it's part of the campaign. And on the way we got attacked by a bunch of orcs. Max's character rolled a nat 1.
Oh, that's always bad.
And accidentally swiped at the horse's Achilles on its left hind leg, and it just collapsed. And Jesse was like, no, what the fuck? So then he was trying to heal the horse. But, okay, in football, when a guy tears his Achilles, it takes about 9 months to get back on their feet. Like 9 months to like actually be able to walk again. But that's pretty. A hippogriff. It looks like a Pegasus
with an eagle head.
With an eagle head.
Yeah.
But so it takes about 9 months for a dude to get back on its feet. A horse, like we don't have time to like nurse a horse back to health.
No, yeah, let alone in real life.
Yeah, exactly. like dude.
Some horses just get put down when that happens.
Exactly. So we were there. We just killed a bunch of orcs. Some of us, I got knocked down once. Like it was pretty tough of a fight, and we all got XP. I needed 7 more XP to get to level 3, and Jesse was like trying to fix this horse. He put like a splint on it, tried to bandage it. And I was like, dude, I was like, this is dumb. Like, we don't have time for it. Yeah. It can't move. What are we going to do? Carry this horse in there? Like, it's not going to work. Like,
I was also planning on killing the horse, but I was not quick enough.
Yeah. So I used one of my spell slots and I used Smearing Smite, which it adds a 1d6 damage on the back end, and it like catches my sword on fire, so it takes burning. It takes burning damage. Yeah, so I also burn it. I wanted to burn it so maybe we could use the meat as like for healing purposes or something. Because I mean, it's horse meat.
Yeah.
So I do that, but I roll a nat 1 when I do that. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna kill myself by accident. But the DM made it so I swiped at the horse and I channeled some divine energy since I'm an Aasimar, which is like half angel, half human person. I channeled some divine energy, and I straight viscerate the horse. Like it disintegrates. Like a huge flashbang just like goes off,
and nothing.
And like there's nothing. And Jesse flipped his shit and tried to fight me, and
I'd like to stab it.
Yeah, so he like stabbed me, and I rolled. We did an initiative roll, and I lost it. I got like 6. He got like 25. So he went first, and he's a monk, so he has 2 hits, as opposed to me. I only have 1 at a time.
Yeah.
So I was already at like 1 HP, and he just comes out of nowhere and just like stabs me, and I fall down, and he just keeps fucking me up. And Jake tries to get in the way.
Shrek tries to stop by slapping him with the flat side of the axe that he has.
Yeah.
But he still came back and was trying to kill him.
Dude, he was out for blood, and he ended up killing me.
Oh, really?
But not before an angel or deity came down from the sky and like protected me. And like grabbed Jesse's character and just like snapped his neck or something, right? What happened?
So did Jesse die?
The angel was holding Ronan, Jesse's character, and then during that, Max rolled a nat 1 trying to stabilize Marco's character.
Yeah.
And so Marco's character died. The deity got angry and snapped Jesse's character's neck, killing him instantly. And then brought him back to life.
Yeah, he brought me back to life. And he was like, I'm not done with you yet, and brought me back to life. And because of that, now I have golden hair, and my character went from neutral evil to neutral good.
Oh, okay. Then that all works out.
Yeah. And now
usually when you come back to life, there's something horrible that happens. Like given the situation, like in our homebrew, a couple of us did die and come back to life. Like Chase's character has burns all over his body because he was killed by a slime, which they like dissolve people inside him.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I was able to get him out of there, and we were able to kill the slime.
That was crazy. Max.
Max is an 80-year-old man, but that's a different story.
That is a different story.
That was my fault, technically.
Oh, isn't it Cal's character who's like...
Cal's character is also old.
But he's not as old, but I thought he died and like something happened to him. I thought he was like oh no, Chase looked like Deadpool, and then I thought somebody else's character like became like limp somewhat. I forget. I don't know.
He has erectile dysfunction.
Oh, yeah, no. maybe he does.
But nothing about Cal's personal life, no.
But yeah, so that's what happened yesterday, which I forgot what spurred to be talking about that, but it connects back to something we were talking about before. That was pretty funny yesterday.
It's all up to the DM's choice as well, because he let us revive our homebrew characters in our story because we were technically in a magic dome that wouldn't let anything escape.
Oh, okay.
That was the whole.
Not even like souls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they would go
Oh,
back
really?
to your body. Oh no, Jesse's character, Santi, he like died but came back, and even though he was a vampire, like he became stronger or something. Like he became even like stronger. I forget what happened.
I'm not sure.
But everything's like just limited on like your own imagination. Like I remember like I was gonna go sneak attack someone, but I wanted to be all cool.
Yeah.
And so I tried a somersault over boxes, and Jake's like, "Oh, roll for
Roll an
Acrobatics.
acrobatics check
Yeah, acrobatics.
with disadvantage just because you're trying to somersault over. He rolls bad and just
I
hits
just
into
smack into the
box.
boxes." So I wasted my whole turn. I was like, "Okay."
Wording in D&D is very important too,
Yeah.
because when we were escaping a like essentially a mansion that was like falling apart,
Oh yeah.
my character Blaze held his shield above his head, and that let me get advantage on trying to escape just because I had thought ahead and tried to protect my character.
Yeah.
It's whatever you do can affect how the game is played. Like my character was being controlled by this vampire, and I was like the only one left still controlled. No one snapped me out of it yet, but I was trying not to kill my companions because you don't want to kill your fellow players.
Or do you?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. In Jesse's case, I guess
I know,
he does.
right?
Right?
so instead of using this fire sword I was hitting people with my shield. What I didn't know is that sometimes the DM will make you do special stuff anyways, so I ran up to someone and hit him with the shield. But since I ran up and rolled a nat 20, I smacked him with my shield and sent him flying backwards. So just straight shield bashed him. I think that might have been Santi as well. Or no, since Santi was still being mind controlled by the...
But he rolled a bunch of nat ones, and so like he like missed on everything that he did, and so we won. We won that fight.
Not really.
We also won that fight because some NPCs help a lot sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What was that one guy's name? Like
I
it was like
remember.
Bob or something. What a good guy.
What a guy.
What a guy. What a man. But no, I also remember that one time I got trapped in a box. Or in a chest, or no, bag, a bag of holding.
You gotta
We
hold
put
it
him
in a bag of
we
holding.
put him in a bag, and we're like, all right, we're gonna throw this across the river, and then or across this moat, and then you're going to tie it at the other end. We didn't know you couldn't escape from the bag on your own, so this was just a bad plan in general.
Yeah, we didn't know you could.
And
just
we
get out.
through the bag. It didn't make it all the way across. It fell into the water, which then a crocodile ate the bag.
Yeah.
And we spent the next, 20 minutes almost dying fighting these crocodiles in water.
Yeah.
And we
was-
got the bag back.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, you guys opened up the alligator and got it out.
Oh,
But yeah, it was weird.
Max also got eaten as
Yeah,
well,
he
as
did.
I believe.
It was horrible.
Thank goodness those crocodiles didn't chew.
I know they just
They
straight
swallowed
they straight
whole.
gulped it up, big gulped, dude. Yeah, so many great times. And then it's also interesting because when you hit a nat one, it gives the DM a chance to really turn
Turn the tides of
turn the
anything.
tides, or a nat 20. Like it gives the DM a chance to really push it in the team's favor or opposite in the team's disfavor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because a nat 20 can be like, oh, you did so well at this, you won't have to do this for a while, or you did so well, you did double damage, and they're also prone. Or if you roll nat 1s, that really lets the DM have some imagination. Most of the time when an enemy rolls a nat 1, they usually just hit the other ones, but sometimes they do stupid stuff like, oh, they fall over and stumble into a pot of mud or something.
Something
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
But it also lets them be creative against the characters. Like, oh, you rolled a nat 1. You do so badly that you come off as a sexual predator talking to this person. They do not want to talk to you. No one in the town wants to talk to you right now.
You now have a
you're just-
warrant for your arrest.
Oh no, FBI.
Yeah, dude. Exactly. It's bad. It can get really bad, but that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
So what's a good way for somebody to start their own D&D session if they've never played before?
That'd be hard.
If they have never played before and they want to start, they can look into they can ask their friends if they'd be interested or if anyone has before trying to get started. There are plenty of starter guides. They even sell them at Target now.
Yeah.
Oh, they
And,
do.
local comic shops usually have them. There you have like a couple different stuff. It gives you dice. It gives you like a player's handbook, which is helpful. If you don't have the money for that, you can always look up the stats for the types of characters you want.
Yeah.
The current version is called 5e, which a lot of people use for their characters. And
Yeah.
their developing of like stories. And
I feel
everything.
like it's the best one.
Yeah. Well, I personally don't know too much about the past one since I just recently got into with the Andrews group.
I feel like the other ones, what I've heard about them is that they're super, like, you think 5e's unforgiving, like the other ones, it's like one hit, one kill. Like,
No, really?
it's like playing Dungeons and Dragons on like legendary difficulty. It's like insane.
I'm not ready.
Yeah, dude, it's wild.
But if you are looking to get into D&D, you can always reach out to people you know that might play it.
Yeah.
Or you can look online for like starter guides, starting tips.
Yeah.
Best way to do it is play with at least one person that has already played it before so they can kind of show you the rules. But if you do not have that, there are plenty of rules online. There's plenty, because there's rules to combat, rules to how you roll, rules to when you roll.
Yeah.
And it also depends if you're trying to be the DM or if you're trying to get someone to DM for you.
Mm.
If you're a DM, you're going to want a little experience at least. If you don't have that option, you just need to read up on a lot of stuff and kind of just crash through it with your players.
Yeah.
Well, that's the fun of it too. I mean, like you guys, it seems like you guys have done a lot of like actual like fucking sessions. For me personally, I've only ever done the one session. So
it'll catch up with you fast, dude.
Oh yeah. Because like there's specific ways that like, because like there's difference between dashing, sneaking, and everything has its own specific thing.
Yeah,
is a thing. So like, if you're trying to do something, like you have to do it, like you have to say it very specifically. Because if not, then like I didn't even know like I had a second like I could dash after I attack, or like I have that
since
second.
You have cunning action.
Yeah, I have cunning action. So I didn't even know. I flipped my paper over, kind of wrote everything out. I was like, "Oh, I have this."
And that's the thing about DMing as well. Like when you're playing a character, you know everything that you have, so you're like, "Oh, I can do this and this." When you're a DM, sometimes you're like, "What do you have that lets you do that?" Like, what is that specific character usually have? Like I know what rogues and monks and fighters can usually do.
Yeah.
But characters like warlocks and sorcerers, their spell slots and their like spell lists can be a bit difficult, so it's always good to have like a resource or like your phone or a computer next to you, so you can look up that information. Like how is that spell worded, and are you able to use it how you want to use it?
Yeah.
If you can't, I'll try to give you like another option, like, oh, you can't use that to freeze them in that because it says nothing can be in it, but you can put an ice block above their head and drop it on them.
Okay.
Like that,
Or freeze their feet if you needed. Rip Barnacle Man.
No, rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Rip.
I would have gotten an inspiration from that too, but I died.
You would have. You would have. Yeah.
But being a DM, you learn about every type of character, and
You almost have to, don't you?
Yeah, just to know like if this situation's possible for these characters.
Right.
The fun part is traps, because traps, like, you don't always look out for traps, since it's like, oh, I'm just walking through this old musty hall, wonder what's gonna happen, and the floor falls out. If you weren't looking for traps before or have a high like passive perception,
right,
you wouldn't notice that. And especially not if you're in a hurry or running.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part is, oh, I'm in a trap now. Are my teammates around? Can I get out of this? Am I dying?
Yeah.
More than likely, you're dying.
So, do you, as a newly founded, minted DM, do you do any research on your spare time of like which characters, of how to DM, different DMing strategies and stuff like that? Or
what do you do on your spare time, Jay?
let the ladies know.
We all have questions.
This is a sad tale. No. But I do read a lot of stories of other DMs and their sessions. Like I like the D&D Green Text is like a great subreddit, because it's like stories of like good and bad characters, good and bad players, like how to do things like correctly. Some stuff that other people do that others do not. Like some people like, and both me and Drew's campaigns, because I kind of copy off Drew for a lot of stuff. How he DMs. A lot of people actually make you like in more like hardcore D&D groups, it's like, oh, you are running out of food. You're going to starve.
Oh, yeah.
You need to get water every day.
Well, with the eating, yeah.
And some characters do help with that. Like, some characters can be like, oh, I can find food every, like, day or every, like, couple hours. But in ours, which is a little more lax, I'm going to let you focus on the story and let you focus on fighting.
Yeah, that'd be like survival mode. I'm not paying attention to
you're
what I gotta eat.
You're starving, dehydrated, and a wolf is gnawing on your leg. What are you gonna
How do you respond?
I like to swing the sword. Can't. You're too tired from being exhausted.
Oh, then I guess I die.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's always good as well to have read over stories and also like look up like magic items, because there's tons of magic items that you can use. There's good ones, there's cursed ones, there's just stupid ones.
The bowling ball.
I have a lantern that burns green and never goes out.
That's kind of cool. It's kind of spooky.
I'm gonna have to think about how you're gonna store that, because that could cost you some sneaking stuff.
Ooh.
Right.
And there's also, I've heard of like silly magical items, like a glove that's like decorated to look like a turkey that can fool someone to thinking it's a turkey for an hour.
What?
Yeah, it's so fucking. There's so many great items that people have made.
Everything's based off imagination. You
Oh
can
my
make
God.
anything.
There's the ring of the game. Whenever someone says the game, you have to say you lose the game. The ring can never come off.
Oh no.
And
Yeah, that's pretty funny. It's pretty interesting.
and there's also, like, getting into it, you learn a lot about what you need to fix as a DM, and that's why playing with someone that's experienced is helping, because after that first session, Andrew gave me some tips on what I should, like, what would be a little more...
Some constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And
That's helpful.
Yeah, and it did help. So next session's going to be a lot better, especially since you guys are getting into the meat and potatoes of the campaign.
Ooh,
I do like
meat and potatoes. The best part of the meal.
You encounter 3 meats and 1 potato.
Oh,
How do you
potato.
respond?
Potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about potatoes, because this is a hot topic.
Potatoes?
Yeah.
What's this?
You don't know what potatoes is?
No.
Oh boy, strap your seatbelt.
I'm already strapped in, boys.
All right, let's talk about potatoes. In the one shot I did for my group's homebrew characters, I include a market and a town that the fight was going to take place in.
Uh-huh.
They, instead of spending 10 minutes in the market like I thought they were going to, they spent about an hour in the market. And I had nothing planned for the market, so I just had to make up so many voices and characters, and I had included this one crazy-looking wizard that was selling just interesting items. And one of these items was a talking potato named Potatoes, whose origin story I don't want to get into.
We have to get into it.
So the origin came from the shady wizard gang, Back Alley Blowy. He ends up busting his magic spell over a sack of potatoes, and one effect is that potato came to life. So
life-giving.
So they purchased potatoes in their effort to make my life miserable in the market, and
my God.
they continued on to the town.
No.
Potatoes was with them, just commenting on the situation in general. Potatoes was an interesting character since I end up playing him.
I love potatoes. Gotta put that on
You
the
say
shirt.
that, but we'll continue to the end of Potatoes' story, and we'll find out you didn't.
Bro.
So they get into this cave. They get this magic sword that's supposed to help them like defeat these enemies that they're definitely not ready to fight.
Oh no, not at all.
It made them way weaker so they could actually fight them. This session lasted about 5 hours.
Oh, dang.
And we started it late, and I should have made that battle end a lot sooner, but I even had my character come out of like a broom closet to help.
Yeah.
Really?
It was an intense battle.
out of
So
nowhere.
intense that
Marco's character, Daewin, the one carrying Potatoes, is like, man, he wouldn't put this in here just to be stupid, would he? Something's got to happen with Potatoes. He's the key to winning this. So he takes Potatoes out of his pocket. He holds him in his hand, and he throws him. at these giant winged snake creatures. He throws Potatus, and they were so hoping something was going to happen. Potatus splatters against the scales of this creature. Potatus is now dead.
That's it. Nothing happened.
And after those creatures left, because the fight was going on too long, I just made him return to the realm from which they came from. I thought Potatus was still stuck on one of them. And Potatus is coming for his revenge in part 2 of that one shot, Revenge of Potatus.
It's been almost a year since we had that session.
And
Oh, dang.
yeah, and Revenge of Potatus is definitely for the homebrew. Just don't know when that session is going to be, since we're having trouble just setting up regular session.
I know that we did Revenge, the first Potatus story, or the first Potatus one shot, during like Christmas time, like a winter break of 2018.
We had a couple
one
shots
shots
going then.
Yeah, we did the Christmas one with Krampus, and then
Shrek.
and Shrek. Yeah,
Shrek is love.
dude, it was funny. Yeah, I did DM'd that one, but then before that, I think it was yours.
Yeah,
And then
Potatus will make his return. The Potatus will return to the MCU.
Yeah, one of
But,
them.
but for those of you at home, not Potatus, one shots are a campaign that's all run in one session. So it's got like a beginning, middle, and end. While most sessions are still the middle usually.
Yeah, it's like think of a one shot as a movie, and then think of a campaign, a full length campaign, as a TV series.
That'd be a good one.
Constantly, there's always, you don't know when the season's gonna end.
It evolves.
Yeah.
You don't know who's gonna die. You don't know what secrets are being held. Gossip Girl.
Yeah. Gossip Girl. 90210.
Don't get me started.
You watch Gossip Girl?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I'm not too sure about that, Luke. Now.
Too many secrets being revealed.
I know. I'm getting too personal on this podcast. I gotta go.
But I definitely have the outline for the session.
Oh, I can't wait.
It just needs to be put a little more polish into it, and then you guys are gonna have a bit of a tougher time in this one.
I just can't wait for the Revenge of Potatus, because Daewin is most likely going to be a main focus, because he's the one who threw the potato at the demon thing.
Yeah.
We have to throw Blaze in another cupboard for this one. Because that's the thing about DMing one-shots, if you're part of the group, is your character kind of has to go away for that one, so you have to find a reason for them to go away. Like, oh, he's helping his buddy in the next town. Oh, he's taking a nap on the crapper.
Just the stupidest things. Yeah. But yeah, no, with the... I know one strategy that I'm going to have, and I'll tell you right now what the strategy is going to be for the Revenge of Potatus.
Oh, no.
The key is to find the wizard that came on Potatus originally.
Ooh. He's the one who gave life to Potatus. He's the one who could take it.
Exactly.
Who you aren't ready. Because I wonder if you'll ever find that market again.
Oh.
And if hopefully I didn't burn it to the ground.
No! No!
And a boulder fell on the market.
Rocks fall, market dies.
Oh, man. Dang.
I definitely know no one's going to die just because our group is very bulky in terms of their like level and stuff.
Yeah, we're already like level 5, right?
So it's going to be... I'm going to have to make it a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
So would you consider like level 5 to be like a high level, or like...
No, level 5 is actually a normal level for people to get to. Level 20 is a very high level for people to get to.
Yeah.
That's when you're like godlike and all your abilities can be used like a good amount of times, and those abilities can like you can have 9th level spells with magic users when you can hardly use level 2 spells and level 3 spells.
Yeah.
I feel like at that point it would stop being fun, or unless you're just
fighting
like godlike characters.
Enemies that are fight like the hardest thing to fight in D&D in the vanilla stuff is a Tarrasque, which is a giant dinosaur creature that will fuck you up.
We had to encounter one.
We didn't fight it because we knew.
Did you guys
better.
run away?
We ran away.
We had to run.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
I would have ran in there and
that was
fought
one of the last time we played the homebrew. Yeah.
We also there's also enemies that can kind of just kill you if they get you in the right way.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
a mind flayer could have killed me outright, but Andrew was being very merciful. And sometimes the secrets of the DM screen is sometimes you'll roll really good and be like, it just hits you. And sometimes you'll roll really bad, and you're like, you might die from this, but yeah, you make it.
And then sometimes, as a DM, you roll a 20, and people are already dying, and you're just like, it misses. You're like, I gotta do him a favor.
Sometimes your characters deserve the kicking on the ground, but most of the times DMs are very like merciful and like, oh yeah, that works, sure. Yeah, you can stick your dick in that trash fire and you still live.
Oh god, not loan that you stick it in there.
Yeah.
You got pleasure.
So, is there anything you could tell us about the session that Lucas is in? You could preview what is in store for them
For the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Well, they have a couple ways they can go. They can try to immediately pursue into the Cragmaw Castle, or they continue into the town that they needed to deliver the supplies to in the first place.
Oh, so you're giving them options.
And meet up with the townsfolk that may have some more information on that. On that castle and some other things that are happening.
I feel like we're just gonna go straight for the castle. I don't think we're gonna go back.
And that'll be your mistake or choice to make.
I know, right?
I love talking to NPCs. That's my favorite. I love like using my charisma as Swolsko because you're very charismatic. I get very few chances to do that, but yeah.
You see, I'll just be in the corner squawking at everyone.
And that's the thing about that's another fun part about role playing as your character, because if their charisma and their intelligence is bad and you're talking like a normal person, you're doing it wrong. If your charisma is bad, you should be like, hey, I can do that for you. And they're looking at you kind of off. But if your intelligence is bad, you kind of talk a little bit off.
More
like
suave.
Yeah.
If your intelligence is low?
No, high. I thought you said high. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. If your charisma and intelligence are high, you should be able to talk to people like just how everyone would talk to someone, maybe with a little more swagger in it.
Yeah.
If that's the word you want to use.
I want to do a crossover session where we have just like 2 DMs and it's just gigantic. It's just a huge group.
If
That'd be
if
cool.
they level up enough to our homebrew characters, I could make that work.
Or even if they don't, you just have the tank level 5s. And then you have also mix in some level 1s and 2s.
Yeah, we should do that regardless.
Infinity War, but
yeah,
it's campaign war.
but it's literally Thanos. He just comes.
Thanos wasn't wrong.
I am inevitable.
Thanos' plan, but he's eating a KFC bucket of chicken. So I have my plan.
No, but that'd be fun. It's always fun to have a bunch of different groups that are local, so you can always interchange people. If you don't have enough people for one session, you can like invite them over to another session and like make
Just
a
do
ragtag bunch and just do a one shot and get them XP.
And that's the beauty of one shots. They could actually have an effect on these characters, or they could not. They could just be like, "Oh, you were all drugged and thought you were fighting in an arena, but really you were in the forest gargling out salt water."
Oh no.
Yeah, you as a DM, you do have the option to have everything in the one shot follow the character through every other campaign, or just be like, for this one specific one shot, you're gonna have this ability, and then afterwards you're done. Like nothing follows you.
And then one other thing about just DM's powers in general, they can let you do anything you want. Say you're in a market. Say you're talking with some friends that you have in this village. One of your companions stabs just a random person. Guess who's angry at you? The whole village.
Yeah.
I'd be that person.
And that's what's gonna get you killed.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna go looting.
We got another crackhead right here.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's cool because like say like if like we all do want to do like a one shot together, like with D&D, everything is like up to imagination. So like we can say like me and Marco met like prior, so the one shot could be set in the past, or do stuff like that.
Yeah. Like with the Christmas one that I did, it was set before every event that we had in the campaign, and so like this was an adventure beforehand. So like before, because Andrew in the first session we ever did said like you've been a group for a while, but this is the first time you guys have actually been commissioned to go and like help somebody out. Whereas before, like we were all like friends, just like bullshitting around apparently.
Yeah.
And one thing that's good about me having this prior experience with playing D&D is I can sneak in cameos from old characters and have them be NPCs if I need
Yeah,
to.
feel free to use Daewin if you want.
Oh yeah, I'm already thinking of some encounters that might be.
Because you got to remember, he used to be a criminal, and he had a girlfriend, and she died because of the criminals. They killed her, and so he's trying to get out of that life. He's trying to run away.
I still haven't even made my background. I mean, because
you made the bare bones of it.
The bare bones of it, but like I was a part of Thieves Guild, but like at the same time, I haven't gone into the meat and potatoes, you say, of like my character, and like he's just there.
That's what you're supposed to do with your free time. You think about your character, what they would like to do, what they would do, what they wouldn't do, and that's also something that's big about playing your character is their alignment. So there's 9 alignments you can have in D&D.
Yes.
There's good, neutral, and evil, and then there's lawful, neutral, and chaotic, and any combination of those.
I'm like chaotic neutral, I think.
Oh, are you? That's a good one to have. Yeah.
That way, a good way to think of it is like chaotic neutral is like you do stuff for the hell of it. A good way to think of lawful is, oh, you're a law-abiding citizen. Lawful evil is like, oh, I'll murder these people, but I'll do it the right way.
Yeah.
Like, I won't kill them in the streets. I'll starve them to death using the laws of this land. Oh, I'll tax them to death and they'll starve.
Or they'll be more tactical about the killing that they're about to do.
Like, oh, I'll become the leader of the local faction and have them executed for crimes.
Yeah.
But
That's
chaotic
crazy.
good is like say these kids were being abused in like an orphanage. You kill the person abusing them, and then you burn down the orphanage. Chaotic good is just like doing something good in the worst way.
Yeah. In the most reckless way.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Burn down the orbit, just kids running out. How sad.
They're dead!
At least they don't have to suffer anymore.
They aren't suffering anymore.
That's righteous. Very righteous.
Very righteous. Yeah. I really love playing a character that is kind of opposite of my personality.
Yeah.
That's the funnest part. Is because like I would never kill a random caravan. I would never just randomly basically, mug a bunch of people
You're just
in real life.
like GTA.
Yeah, but it's just like, you know what? This is a game.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you got to remember this is a game and you can take it wherever you want. Like, I know Jake is trying to be an evil character, hopefully, in his next character.
Oh, yeah, my next character is definitely going to be on the... Because I've mostly played good characters, so it's like...
Because you're a good guy.
Well, that's because, like, in every game and everything, I'm like, oh, I'll play an evil character this run through, I'll, like, kill the kids and stuff, and then I'm like, oh, I'm still helping this old lady across the street, what the hell is wrong with me? And an evil character is something that I could like to get into, because... I'm probably going to do lawful evil, because we have a little too much chaotic in our group.
Yeah.
And I'd like to just set the group up.
I feel like Shrek, though, is going to last a while.
Shrek is a tanky boy, so it's hard for him to die.
Yeah.
And the best chance of him dying was the Belliard bandits, like, trapping him together. But...
That's not going to happen
One
anymore.
of them is dead, and one of them is good now.
Yeah,
so.
one of them's been converted to Mormonism.
And Shrek just sliced off the head of a Manticore last session, so...
Yeah.
If that didn't kill him, there's not many things that might.
I just hope that he shares the loot.
Fuck that.
Wow. I thought you were a good character.
Okay, come on.
Actually, he's a neutral good. So
well, isn't Shrek dumb as rocks? You can always just con him out of his loot.
True.
He's dumb, but
true.
He doesn't trust him. And he's
not
good now.
Not yet, but he doesn't know that I'm good. He just knows I have gold hair now.
Yeah.
I'm going to find somebody to paint my armor like white because it's black right now. Because I was an edgy boy, but now I'm a good boy. So
next town you stop in.
Next town. I don't know. Maybe I'll like come up with my own like Swolsco logo or something. I'll like brand myself as a hero of the realm.
Speaking of painting, there's a whole different side of D&D as well, the physical side.
Yes.
You can have figures that represent your character. We usually use dice because none of us have gotten figures yet, but there's sites where you can customize a little minifigure that they'll send you in the mail and you can paint. Mm-hmm. There's also maps that you can use for different areas. Like we use this big sheet of like kind of like graph paper.
Yeah.
Write on it and then. But there's actual like maps you can like have and use.
Yeah.
And there's also figures for all types of enemies and bosses. Like there's ones of like giant dragons. There's ones that people make. Like I've seen someone make a mimic the size of a tower.
Oh,
that looked
shit.
awesome. It was like a twisting like pile of rocks that like looked down on him.
That's crazy.
And that's a whole different side of D&D that I hope to like once
We should explore.
we
that,
all have
yeah.
some funds for it. For that,
Yeah, I could
we
throw
can
down
get
on
into.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. I also like the ability where you can play the game with all like the certified equipment or not. You could just have just paper, pencil, and just play
Oh
through.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a map at all. You can
Well,
just
yeah, it doesn't cost much.
Yeah.
At all.
And like the first like group I was a part of, me and my friend Gavin, who's been on the podcast a couple times, he was the DM, and his brothers live in Vacaville. He lives in Long Beach, and I live here in Sacramento, and we were able to do it over like Discord.
Oh, really?
and using the site Roll20. You're able to play D&D using like a virtual board, basically.
Oh.
And like, yeah, Gavin set it up where we had a map of the whole world, and we could travel to all these different like countries within the world, but also like everything that we did in the world affected how these factions like thought of each other. So like we accidentally blew up the UN of this world.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we were basically like terrorists, and like because we did that, like it unstabilized the entire world. So there was a bunch of war going on that we were involved in. It was crazy. It was insane. So you could go as deep as you want, but also physically, you don't need even pencil and paper. You could do it online with friends online.
and there's a ton of free resources as well, just because people have made these things available because they want to see other people play that might not be able to afford it.
Yeah, and it's working.
So if you're doing it on a budget, you can still do it.
More and more people just locally are playing D&D that I never thought would play D&D.
Yeah.
And it's fun. But
Well, you never know. Like the
Yeah.
people, like, you bring up D&D and they're like, "Oh yeah, I played that once in a while." I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck?
it's a good time.
Yeah.
Or you bring it up and they're like, "Oh, you play D&D, right? Yeah."
You know?
And then whenever people do that to me, I'm just like, "Have you ever played?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Well, you definitely should try, because if you played it, you would fucking love it."
That's the thing. Like I bring up D&D like not a lot, but like I'll bring it up. I'm like, "Oh, like I have D&D on Saturdays." They're like, "Oh, you play D&D?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, isn't it that game from Stranger Things?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's that one."
Yeah.
I've never watched it, but yeah.
And you bring it up to certain people, like I brought it up to my grandmother, and she's like, "Isn't that game supposed to be satanic?" And I was like,
Oh
no,
my gosh.
No, Grandma.
no, that is an old myth. That
Satanic.
and Pokemon isn't satanic
You need to
either.
get your Harry Potter books out of here, Jake.
But Digimon though.
Ooh.
Now that shit's satanic.
Oh yeah.
You got to watch out for that shit. But yeah.
Conjure something up.
So before we wrap it up, because I think we ran pretty well, we got to get both your thoughts on the new news coming out of Marvel and Sony Studios, in which Tom Holland will stay in the MCU for the foreseeable future.
The boy.
How do you guys feel about that?
Lucas, you start off.
Well, personally, I think it's great that the two companies can actually get a deal done and keep Tom Holland in the MCU, because everyone loves Tom Holland.
Oh yeah.
Personally, I'm a Tobey Maguire fan.
Oh, I knew it. This guy keeps his Tobey Maguire friends closer than his Tom
Exactly.
Holland friends. I get it. It's fine.
You can only trust Toby fans.
Toby's the OG goat boy, obviously. But yeah, I think it's nice. I mean, he's only haven't all the Spider-Mans gotten 3 movies?
No, Andrew Garfield only got 2.
Well then, obviously they're pretty. You gotta kick Andrew Garfield out of the
Equation.
topic,
Yeah.
equation, because they both have 3. But
Yeah.
I like it
Mhm.
personally. It's gonna make everything better, and
Yeah.
it's gonna keep the MCU rolling.
Yeah. What about you, Jake?
I think it's great that Marvel quit trying to get the most money they could out of it, because come on, Disney, you have enough money.
You do. Yeah.
I think it's great because he is a great Spider-Man. I won't lie about that. Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to what they're gonna do based off of what happened in Far From Home, and I know they can't do certain stuff, but I'd love to see a live action into the Spider-Verse, even if it's just Sony's movie and not.
Yeah.
Because they did say there might be some alternate dimension stuff with Sony's being a Sony only movie,
Yeah.
which that's what I'm hoping for. And Sony, if you do it, please bring in Tobey Maguire.
Dude, that'd be so awesome.
I would love you, Sony, and I would love Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire teaming up, and that would be hilarious.
It'd be crazy if they made a deal, and I think this is the deal that they made, if I'm not mistaken. Possibly not, but where Tom Holland can appear in Marvel Studio movies that tie into the MCU, and then also just his own Spider-Man movies with Sony. And like, I've heard a rumor that they're thinking of bringing back Andrew Garfield Spider-Man to fight Venom in the next movie, and then that will set up the Spider-Verse, like where Tobey Maguire would then get introduced in another live-action movie, and then they would bring in Tom Holland.
Because to be fair, Andrew Garfield didn't do terrible. He was still decent as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's just the things around that movie didn't do too well.
I just think,
some supporting characters weren't too great. Some villains weren't too great.
Jamie Foxx.
Green Goblin. How you gonna compare that Green Goblin to frickin' either New Goblin from Spider-Man 3 or fucking Willem Dafoe?
Big Dick Bill.
Big Dick Bill. You know how much I sacrificed?
Yeah, but I just think how bad of a movie Venom was. It makes sense.
It wasn't that bad.
It makes sense as to bring in Andrew Garfield to like, because he's on that same level of like type of movie. Like they have the same feel. It would make more sense for Andrew Garfield to be in the Venom movie and then bring back Tobey Maguire in a Spider-Verse, like Ultimate Spider-Man type of movie after they do like Madam Web, which is apparently in production too.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that. I'm excited
Really,
for
you
that.
didn't see that?
No, I haven't looked at like all the things announced.
Yeah, they.
I just heard some stuff was announced yesterday. I was like, oh, I should probably look that up, and then I didn't.
Yeah,
I got
Madam Web
hammered.
was announced as they were in production of that. The Kraven the Hunter movie is now not in production because Marvel's most likely going to use that in Spider-Man 3, the third installment of the Tobey Top Holland.
He's obviously thinking of the better Spider-Man.
Oh wow! Okay.
There goes my hopes for Spider-Man 4, though. I mean, come on, that would have been like everyone that would have come out of the woodwork to see that.
You never know, though.
Yeah,
True.
You never know. Anything could happen if they decide to do just a bunch of Spider-Men at the same time and then have them all interconnect through multiverses.
That is what the Madam Web stuff is usually. It's supposed to be like connecting different Spider-Men from different times. Like there's a medieval Spider-Man, there's Spiders Man, which is a bunch of spiders that think they're Peter Parker and they inhabit the suit. There's Spider-Ham, which we saw in Spider-Verse, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Woman. There's just so many different types of Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Noir.
There's Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah, I want to see 2099.
that'd be cool.
He did make a cameo at the end of Spider-Verse, and his stuff is pretty awesome because the future stuff that he gets. And there's just so many different types. There's the Superior Spider-Man, where it's Doc Ock's mind in Spider-Man's body.
Yeah.
And Scarlet Spider is a whole different thing, where it's clones of Peter Parker.
Spider-Gwen, which was in Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse.
I still haven't seen that.
I feel like what they could do for a live-action Spider-Gwen is have... Oh, no, because Gwen Stacy died in Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, she'd have to be in the Tobey Maguire universe.
Yeah.
And then once the multiverse happens and they all cross over, then she would be able to exist. That would be really cool. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing that where they just see
For the viewers at home, a guitar fell
out of nowhere.
I don't even get it. But it'd be really cool to see like just all these other Spider-Man movies that were made like be acknowledged. Just like how in Star Wars, like, the prequels are finally being acknowledged by Disney, where it's like, they happened, just acknowledge it. It's weird that you're not.
Are you saying that the prequels aren't enjoyable on their own? Because I'm going to have some fighting words for
No, I don't think that they're not enjoyable.
Debate.
I know, we're going to have another debate. Freaking Obi-Wan, Jake Nobi over here. Yeah. But no, I don't think that they're not enjoyable. I'm just saying, like, for a long time, Disney was like, we're only going to acknowledge the original trilogy, and then we're going to make our own extension of that original trilogy. Whereas like the other 3 happened. You can't just pretend like they didn't.
Yeah.
So I hope Sony does that with Spider-Man.
I personally prefer the prequels as well
You do?
over this new trilogy.
Oh god, we can go into a whole other 3-hour debate like you said about that.
It's over, Marco. I have the high ground.
Okay, episode 3 is not that bad.
Episode 3 is very enjoyable, and like the stuff looks so great in those prequels. Like,
Yeah.
they definitely like progressed a lot, especially with the special effects they were able to
Yeah.
do.
But you gotta admit, episode 1 is kind of boring.
Episode 1 is slower, I will admit, because everything's kind of like peaceful, except for like you can't tell me though that the Infinity War fight is not a copy of the Naboo fight from Star Wars Episode 1 though.
Oh, where that's like, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
The shield being taken down.
Yeah,
Then they all clash.
and then Jar Jar's out there. Howard the Duck.
Misa don't like this.
They should bring back Jar Jar.
There is a whole like comic spinoff that made him the Sith Lord.
Really?
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Not gonna lie, Jar Jar is my favorite. Like, I love him.
He's just so
I knew there was
goofy.
something wrong with you.
Yeah, man.
I will say, episode 2 had some great fighting, but Anakin's whining fit was a big detriment to that movie.
Yeah, episode 2 is all about the action.
Yeah.
Episode 1's all about the dialogue.
And episode 3 is the best of both.
Yes, especially when he kills all the kids. Fuck them kids.
You know,
Fuck them kids.
disclaimer: I'm a Star Trek fan more.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never would have
I didn't know that.
I never would have guessed.
Leave the room now.
I never would have guessed. Who's your favorite character of Star Trek? I honestly don't know anything about it, but
Well, and honestly, like, I haven't delve into like both worlds too much. I've only ever seen this. In all honesty, I've never seen any Star Wars movies.
whoa,
Not a single one. Kill me now.
Our evening's gonna be busy
Yeah.
watching Star Wars movies
apparently.
now.
I've
Holy shit.
only ever seen Star Trek, and I really enjoyed their movies. And I thought they were like really, really cool.
Yeah,
Star Trek movies are good. I won't lie about that.
that's crazy. I can't believe you haven't seen. I know what to do for the podcast now. We got to do an each episode like commentary track of each like movie with you, since you've never seen it, and
Yeah,
get your opinions on
Now,
what you think.
now
what I
the
think.
orders and decision is: should we go 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 like everyone else did, or should we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
I heard that you're supposed to. You should watch them from how they were originally released.
I personally like doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I personally
that's
do
chronologically?
as well, but I usually watch 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
You don't like the original trilogy?
Oh no, I still love the original trilogy. I probably like it more than I like the new stuff. Rogue One
Yeah.
was a great movie though.
I
won't
really
lie
liked
about it.
Rogue One. People
was a
shit on
great
that movie. It makes no sense to me.
I personally love the original trilogies because I love like the Jedis and stuff. I love the clones,
Mm.
and like the clones were dope in those movies. And I grew up playing Battlefront 2, so
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, the clones, oh, yeah, Commander Cody.
It's all nostalgia based,
Yeah.
which I understand. We grew up with that, so it makes sense. Well, you guys better be on the lookout for that stuff because it might be happening sooner than you think.
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah, I think we got enough time for this one. Yeah, we're about 72 minutes now. So
Jesus.
you guys did your job. I appreciate that very
Alright.
much.
It
If you
actually
enjoyed this episode, please listen in on the other 24 main episodes. We have about 11 closing out the week episodes that are shorter,
And the debate.
and the debate, which was episode I believe 18 of the podcast, in which Jake, Jonah Jameson, and I debated on who was the best Spider-Man. So if you're interested in that, that's on YouTube, and that's a video of that is on YouTube. It was live streamed. If you don't want to watch the live stream, listen to the audio on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. Without any further ado, we will bid you an adieu. Catch us on Friday. I'm gonna have somebody on. We're not gonna be talking about fantasy football this week, thank fucking God. We'll be talking about something different finally, because that got really old really fast. And yeah, stay tuned for that.
Oi.
Peace.